used to wonder, how long would it take to learn a language if you just moved there? If you were part of their culture, part of their life, part of their family? Well, what about everything else? How long until I can hold a conversation, understand a movie, understand someone's philosophy, or go on a date in this new language?
Este episodio va a responder a todo eso y más. Esto no es alguien haciendo algo loco, es solo un retrato sobre mi experiencia viviendo en Colombia, aprendiendo el idioma y viendo cómo la experiencia cambió mi forma de ser.
Dale, listo, tengo harto de qué hablar. Hay muchísimas historias sobre mi tiempo viviendo aquí, pero de la única cosa que quiero hablar en este episodio es de la sensación que tuve al mudarme a un lugar con un idioma nuevo y de cómo esa sensación cambió con el tiempo. When I got home from Italy, I believed that I was different. Nothing changes you more as a person than embracing another culture. At that moment, there wasn't another culture I wanted to change me more than the one that exists in Latin America. I remember being on the plane ride to Colombia thinking, where the hell am I going? I might as well have hit the I'm feeling lucky button on Google Earth. I did no research about Colombia. I knew none of their cities. I booked nothing in advance. I didn't speak the language, but I was listening to something, honestly. And I don't know where it came from. Fundamentally, I was here to learn Spanish. That was my entire goal. Learn the language. Immediately, I recognized three things. One, in December, I spent 30 days learning Spanish, and I surprised my friend Aloy by the end. That was half a year ago, and I essentially forgot it all. Over a year ago, I spent 90 days learning Italian. I was never very serious about it. 18 months later, I essentially forgot it all too. I admit my mistakes, but I cannot repeat it. I will learn this language, and I will make sure that I never forget it.
Ahora es tiempo por una clase con Pablo.
Oh, nice. This comes out of being 17. My goal was to be a YouTuber. I made some videos about learning languages in short periods of time. The problem was that once the video was made, I stopped studying. I was stuck in an accomplishing state of mind. Imagine that the day you learned how to do the splits, you just stopped stretching because, oh, your goal was complete. What was the point of stretching anymore? Like, why even learn it in the first place? By the time I had made it to Colombia, I had matured. I was no longer so focused on proving to myself and others what I could do. I just simply wanted to learn this language and to create meaning and have fun. I also decided that from now on, I can never, ever forget a language that I learn. So let's cut to the chase. I moved to a country with the sole purpose of learning the language. These three things are what worked. 1, learning journal. This one is such a given for me that it almost feels funny to even mention it. Since Italy, I've kept a little journal in my pocket to write down everything that I learn. When it comes to languages, I separate the front and back of the page. English on the front and its Spanish translation on the back, which I only write down after keeping it in my head long enough to not rely on the translation. The first sentence in this book is, I made gnocchis with Isabella. This is 90% of what language learning is to me. Get words from real life, from books, from songs, friends. Translate it in a solid translator like DeepL. Be intentional about memorizing it. Write it down. Basta. Month after month, this book filled up quickly. The coolest part about this is that it's chronological, meaning it's essentially a diary.
I couldn't charge it?
No pude cargarlo. That was when there was a rainstorm in Salamanca and everything was without power. And I was telling my friend, oh sorry I couldn't respond because I couldn't charge it last night. That's a good one.
Yeah, yeah. I have no razor, so I haven't shaved in 2 weeks.
Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when my razor broke.
Sure.
And after the Amazon, so I had full facial hair.
I'm sure it wasn't full facial hair.
When I think back on what has progressed me the most in Spanish, a lot of it is the act of presenting. I would often have some story of almost dying or this girl I met or something that I was really excited to share, but I just didn't have the vocabulary. I would translate something I really wanted to say to my friends, I'd rehearse it, I'd write it down, and then I would tell them, bro, parcero, no vas a creer lo que pasó anoche. I do my best to present what I had just translated. What did this mean? I got to test myself all of the time. I say something to one friend, I mess up a word, I tell it to another, I get the word right, but the pronunciation's kind of off there. It was such a direct way to perfect what I wanted to say. Homo sapiens. I love our species, man. I mean, aren't we just the best, dude? As opposed to silently memorizing Spanish by myself, when someone I knew taught me a word, that word was linked to them in that moment of time. I imagine Hugo telling me "ya vengo" every time that I said it. I remember Gabriel telling me "parchar." This guy used the word "bacano" literally at the end of every sentence. I have such a vivid memory of Pablo grilling me on how to say brazo, muñeco, mano, dedos, y codo. This goes deep too. We remember faces and personas so effortlessly that the more which is connected to the people we know, the easier it is to form these memories. So the refined 3-part method for learning a language is to have a learning journal, present what you learn, and connect it to all of those around you. Pero aún es tiempo de responder a la pregunta de la que trata este video. ¿Cuánto tiempo? ¿Cuánto tiempo ha tardado? Empezaré diciendo que la respuesta a este video es 5 meses. He estado 5 meses aprendiendo español aquí. Mi mayor realización es que todavía no soy fluido. Pasaron otros videos en YouTube, pensé que sería fluido dentro de 3 meses. Brutal, que es una locura de creer. No sé la palabra ahora de burrow, or crowd, or apostle. I have conversations every once in a while where I have no idea what someone's saying to me. I can't express myself as I can in my native language. The book I first bought when I got here, El Alquimista, is in the third person past tense the whole way through, and I still can't read it without looking up some words. This is 5 months of Spanish, and I'm still not fluent. So, what can I do? Well, I was able to make an indigenous tribal leader laugh in Valpes. Hang out with coffee farmers in Cabras. Receive compliments on my gnocchis from neighbors in Confines. Have truly a second family in Samana, talking with them for hours each day. artista.
Soy un artista
Abstracta. Have a new best friend in Bogota.
Vale, colombianas.
And look back on this year knowing that I really gave it my all. I accepted the idea of not knowing what I was doing. The embarrassment, the hesitation, it was all part of the process. I dove into this culture. I went so deep. My time in Colombia feels like it was years and years of my life. It truly was the best time in my whole life. And the memories that I have from here are so priceless. It's redefined my aspirations in life. Because of speaking the language and because of letting the culture move me, I have more to love in the world. Another part of the map that's a part of me. Quechimba. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so happy to release this episode finally. Oh my gosh. A few things to mention though. First of all, there is a new language learning episode coming out soon. And I don't want to give any spoilers, but that video is on learning Ukrainian. There's an important reason as to why I'm doing this, and it's a video that you just cannot miss. So just make sure you're subscribed so that you see that video when it comes out. Last thing I'd like to mention is that for those of you who value learning, you're going to want to take advantage of a free trial for short form. Their idea is to take books and turn them into succinct articles. You can finally read all of those books that have been on your list forever. They actually have a lot of philosophy, they have a lot of Buddhism, tons of meditation books that I've been going through. This week I finally read Jon Kabat-Zinn, learning about simplicity and his description of mindfulness. Short form is just a great way to learn. For a 5-day free trial and an annual subscription discount, hit shortform.com/SOM or click the link down below. I guess that's all for now. I love you guys. I'll see you soon.